Dude, I'm thinking about the listener or the viewer right now. Like, just doing the math. Like, all right, this guy did 7 million in the first full calendar year of business, 2023, right? Now you're looking to double that. That's more than most, roofing companies ever get to, 7 million. That's a very short period of time. How did you do that? I mean, obviously there's, we can, you can write a book on that, which you might even be doing, but like, real quick, I mean, not that everyone, I don't recommend that because I'm sure there's a lot of, recklessness there and a lot of intentional recklessness. And you maybe didn't even make much profit. Who knows? I don't know. But I mean, what are some of the key aspects to being able to do that? Because like, dude, as you know, there's guys that have been in business 10, 20 years that are still trying to break 2 million, right? So how do you do that?
I would say one side of it is that, I didn't come into roofing to be a roofer. I came into roofing because of the business model. Right. Like I had done some things. I've had mentors like the guy that I say with the mergers and acquisitions. I mean, he's the CEO of a $100 million a year company. They're evaluated at 450 million. Like that's like my right hand guy. He's literally one of my best friends. He's a mentor of mine. And so, a lot of it has been like this osmosis learning of just being able to study him and watch him and see how he does things. Right. And so me coming into roofing, where I think I see a downfall to some people is that, they've been in the business for so long and it's like, this is how it's done. This is how you got to do it. I'm a roofer. I'll do the best roofs. Right. And not that anything's wrong with that, but I think when you're looking at it from that angle, I looked at it as like, I feel that a lot of people look at it as roofing and I'm looking at it as a business. Right. Yeah. And so it's allowed me to remove myself from any kind of emotional tie that I might have to the business itself, right? So everything that I'm doing is just thinking high level all the time. And knowing business and as much as I've been able to, learn, for me, I'm constantly, delegate, elevate, automate, delegate, elevate. Like that's everything that I'm doing is always like, okay, how can I create this once, make it replicatable, and then put somebody in that place, right? And just create that culture depth. Because that to me becomes the most important thing is you've got to create the extension of you. Right. You've got to be able to set these core values and the mission and the vision. And like, if I'm good at one thing, it's building that. It's vision and it's inspiration. Right. Like that's my genius. And so for me, it's really, I think being able to do enough self-reflecting as an owner and saying like, why are people here? Because you can go make money anywhere. You could, especially in this business, right? It's like, guys come in, they want to learn, they want to go do it on their own. Why wouldn't they? They want to be owners. And so for me, it's being able to be like, okay, what's the thing that attracts the people? And then how do I create the business to revolve around my genius so that I'm not doing anything but staying in the lane that I'm really good at? And again, being able to look at it as business versus roofing has allowed me to kind of have that, because I'll be honest, like I had probably sold 2 roofs before I hired my first person. Right. Ooh. And yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. I had only sold a couple roofs, but, from building the brand and having, what I had done, because I was in bodybuilding and powerlifting. And so I kind of had an ecosystem of people that were kind of watching me. And so whenever I found like the vehicle that I knew that I could help people in, like, it was like, everyone's like, how do I be a part of that? Right. And so, but that's its own challenge as well. Right. Because it's like, I didn't know enough about things as well to really be able to probably be bringing people in that fast. But at the same time, it was like, I know that I'm good at building people. So if I'm bringing these people in, like I look at it as, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be able to, honestly be the dumbest guy in the room, but find the smartest people and then help them figure out how to get better at them. Right. Yeah. And that's just really been my hyper focus is, strategic hires along the way where, you saw when they're like disc assessments and all of that stuff. Right. It's like just being so hyper aware that I'm a very high D, very high I, no steadiness, no compliance. I'm, all over the place. I'm not organized, but I'll get you excited and you'll run through a wall for me. And that becomes, for me, the basis of every person you bring in is like, are they a complement to where we at or are they not? Are they a good salesperson or are they not? Like, because I'm also the kind that wants to build people and help people too. And that can that can be your biggest weakness sometimes as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's all about the mission, right? Like, and that you talk about being the dumbest person in the room, and we had annual 2-day leadership meeting last week in Chicago. The four of us were in a conference room for 2 days, and I'm the owner. I'm 100% owner of our company, but I probably did. I mean, I don't know if you had like a meter to judge, like, how much each person was talking over the 2 days. I probably did the least. It's a weird position to be in, but it's like, no, like this is the way that it's supposed to be. I'm not sitting up there in front of the boardroom and dictating like what everyone should be doing. It's our company, right? Everyone's making decisions, and that's how we're able to delegate and elevate.
And I think a lot of that, Joe, is ego. There's a lot of ego in this industry, and that's not shots by no means, but there is a lot of that where it's like, again, is how we've done it. This is how it's got to be, and I think that it just hurts your business when you allow the ego to be the thing that runs it, right? Like, I constantly am trying to be the most selfless, the giving, it's the thank yous, it's the appreciation I show towards my people. I don't want to be the one that, has to be the face of it, right? And that was one of the biggest reasons to start in the media company, was because, people were attracted to me from the socials and what I've done. But then what I started seeing happening was guys are like, well, everything's about you, Mike. Everything's about what you're doing and who you are, right? And so for me, being able to create this media company that now builds brands for all of my people too, well, I'm removing myself from that, where it's like, I don't care if you even know it's my company, right? It's like, you tell them it's your company. It's not, Nate with Michael's Columbus Roofing. It's Nate with Columbus Roofing. It's not my thing. You know what I mean? And I think that's just a big piece to it, is being able to, set that ego aside and be more focused on building the people to build the business versus just building the business.
Yeah, dude, totally, man. I've been at this 11 years, and we've been just kind of making that shift. So like you're a high D, you move fast. I'm high S, so I'm more steady. So it takes me longer to things maybe, but that's okay. That's who I am, right? So we're making that shift now. Like, for example, we're rebuilding our website, because if you go on our website, contractordynamics.com, it's like the Joe Show, and it was that way for so many years. Not ego. That's just the way I built the business. And now it's not. Like, now I'm like, dude, if I could snap my fingers, we got a new website tomorrow. Maybe someone out there can do that. But I want all our people out there. I want our clients out there. I want our events. I don't even care if I'm on it. I think a lot of times, guys in the roofing industry have that ego because maybe they don't have. And one of the things I want to talk about, like, maybe they don't have that vision, right, of what they want to build and why. And you talk about that a lot. Like, you talk about your 20-year vision. You talk about, building to sell, your exit plan. Do you see that a lot in the industry as well? Like, guys and girls don't have that clear vision.
Yeah, man. And I don't even know that it's, just the industry, right? It's like, people in general, right? I think that's one of the biggest disconnects is, if you don't have the destination, right? Like, in some of the videos I talk about, like, making that decision through the destination, right? If you don't have that destination for where you want to get to and where you want to go, one, it's obviously going to slow down their growth, right? But two, what are the people getting excited for, right? If you don't have that end goal in mind, like, I knew for me that I could sell vision, right? And so from day one, I knew where we were going or where I wanted it to go, right? And that might change along the way, but everything that I was doing was, allowing, people to instill their dreams inside of my vision, right? Like, I got to make this vision big enough for all of us, and you're all going to be a piece of this. And, they obviously took the risk too to see, like, can I trust this guy?
Yeah.
Right. Are you true to the things that you say you are? And, I think that's where it comes down to then, as that owner, is just being so true to those core values. And like, those things that you hire by, you fire by them, you live by them, right? Because that's the thing that everybody relies on to make sure you're, a unified group, moving forward. And even with vision, man, in the 20-year thing, right? It's like, dude, it's hard to even imagine that. Even if you think as big as you can and you give yourself 20 years, you still can't even think big enough. Right. So it's like, we're just not exposed to these things. And, and most of us never get to see that. Fortunately, I was, again, side by side with a guy that's a very successful individual. And, I got to experience these things, right? Like, I got to see what this looked like, because before I got into, roofing or come to Columbus, dude, I was a good old boy, man. I didn't even know that people were making 250 grand a year, 200 grand a year. Right. And so, but that's just all I knew. That was my environment. And so when you can, see that happening and actually be like, oh, damn, this guy ain't that much different than me. You can humanize these people and realize that, dude, it's possible.